everyone. Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. I had to think what day it was. I am Pam Savage, owner of Young at Heart Creations. Typically go live on Thursdays, but have a lot going on tomorrow. So I thought I would go ahead and hop on today and show you what I'm working on. I don't typically have this on when I'm painting. I usually have something a little nicer on when I'm going to go live, but I am in my painting smock. You can tell it's been very, very loved. I have had this for almost 30 years and I still wear it. I can still fit into it. I hadn't thought about it that way. Hi, Roxy, but yes, I can still fit into it. So today is what you see is what you get. I've got on my painting smock, and I got it at Walmart about 30 years ago, and it's just a nursing smock uniform, whatever. It's Care Bears, if that tells you how old it is. Hi, Sharon. Hello, hello. So y'all have already seen me paint one of these live, but I've got to get some more done for the craft show that's in just a week and a half now. And so I thought I would kind of show you how what we call batch paint. So let me get you pulled up over here on iPad so we can see comments. Come on there. There's Miss Roxy. Okay, so it's a 12-inch tall snowman. I've also done the 6-inch size. I got these off of Amazon. They were two to a package, and they ended up being right at $8 a piece, unfinished. So I'm probably going to have to charge $20 for them at the craft shows, or $19.99, something like that. But because they did cost me quite a bit, and then by the time the paint and the other things that you have to go with it, so you know, things have just gotten so much more expensive. But they also have these in like 2 foot that are 2 foot tall and much wider. Those were like $25 or so unfinished. I didn't get any of those, but I thought, ooh, those would be neat too. So I'm going to start out. I've already got some of them base coated with the blue. So I took them apart, base coated them, and then had Mr. Pam put them back together because they were so so hard for me with the spring. I've had a lot of surgeries on this hand, so sometimes I can't do something that takes a lot of strength in it. So that's what I've done so far. So I'm going to go ahead and just start with the black. I've got 6 of them laying here. So that's what I'm doing. When I batch paint, I get them all set out, and then I do one step at a time on each one. Like I'll go through and do all the hats, all the faces. So we won't get these done on the live today, but I just thought you'd kind of like to see what I was doing and what I look like when I'm not all dressed up. I did put some makeup on because it is church day. So we'll go to church tonight. So I did put a little bit of makeup on, but no jewelry, no church clothes for sure. So I've got paint. I look at this, I look back at this, it's got all kinds of paint on it, and I can remember some of the projects. I got this when my daughter was a baby, and she's 36 years old now. So that tells you how long I've had it, but I love it, love it, love it. It's got pockets in it so I can throw my tools in it, whatever I need. Let's see, I want to make sure 1:30. Okay, what time it was on here so that I don't stay on here too long. But say hi when you hop in. You got your tax ID number. Yay, Sharon. Sharon's going to be in the craft show that we have, not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday. So if you're local or you're within driving distance, it's at the Howe High School inside on November the 11th. It's the second Saturday in November. So not this coming Saturday, but next. It's $2 to get into the show. And they typically have around 70 vendors. I don't know how many they have this year, but it's definitely worth coming. And everything that we pay as a vendor for our booths and the concession fees for the food, all of that goes to their band, their music program. So with that money, we have supplied new instruments for them, brand new uniforms for them, helped pay for a trailer to take their music instruments back and forth. We put lights in the parking lot for them, just so we've been able to feed them with some of that money. So we have definitely put that money to good use, and they've won state I don't know how many times, or even they've come so close to winning state so many times. So we are very proud of our kids at the Howe High School and the Howe Band and music program. And so we try to support them any way that we can. And you'll see a lot of good stuff. I have bought so much stuff from that. I go to sell, but I end up bringing back almost as much as I take to sell because there's so many cute things. So, okay, so I think I'm going to start out with, and I'm going to put it on this old plate that I was working with. These are just little popsicle sticks, tiny little, let's see, they are about 2.5 inches, so they're little, but you could also put the long ones on. They're just little craft popsicle sticks that I got. I don't even know where I got them. I've had them for so long. So I'm going to do them in black. So I'm hoping these will sell. I'm going to, next item I'm going to do after I finish these, one more round of something for the craft show, and then I'm done. I've got to pack up. I've got everything, almost everything priced, marked, bagged, and ready to go. But I am going to have some items on sale. So I'm going to go back and mark some of them with sale tags. If I had it last year, some of the items, or if it's a fall item, it's more than likely going to be on sale. Hi, Dixie. Hello, Heather. Hello, hello. And Letitia. I don't remember that name. So if you're a newbie, welcome. Welcome to my page. If you like what you see today, this is not a normal live. I usually go on Thursday evenings, and I'm usually dressed a little nicer, but I've got just my what you see is what you get today on there. But welcome, and if you like what you see, if you have fun, or if you learn something, please hit that follow button. I would appreciate that. I'm trying really hard to get to 2,000. I'm at 1,626. So every time I get to a new 100 followers, we get to ring the bell, and I get to send out some happy mail. Okay, so I'm going to get started. I think I'll go ahead and paint the hats first. I mean, the hat, and then we'll do the brims and let them work on them while the hats themselves are drying. Okay, so I've base coated this in Deco Art Colonial Blue, inside and out, except for this top section where the hat's going to go. Or Letitia, which one? Say number 1, Letitia, or number 2 for Letitia. How do you know how many to make for each item? You know, each sale, how many do I make? There's really no way to tell. You never know who's going to buy. What was popular last year is not popular this year. And okay, so Letitia, alrighty. So I never know. I just make what I'm enjoying and having fun doing. And if that works, then that works. You just never know. And I can take something like, if I took something last year, didn't sell a 1, and I go ahead and take it again this year, and I sell every one of them. It's just, you never know. I will tell you a tip. If you do craft shows, about every 2 hours or so, rearrange your items. Like if you had Snowman sitting over here, move them to a different table. Move your items around, because people will go around 2 or 3 times, and they'll come back and they'll go, oh, she put some new product out. No, I just changed it around. It is guaranteed to work. I have tried, somebody told me that, a professional told me that one time, and I thought, well, what difference does that make? He said, try it. And it has worked every time. Even at a garage sale, it works. So there's you a tip for the day. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to bring you down. And I'm just going to, with a flat brush, I'm going to be careful because I don't want to get it on this, but I'm just going to get our base coat of black on. These make such cute little teacher gifts. Now the smaller clothespins, the 6-inch ones, and for those of you that just hopped on, here's what we're making. Here's the back of it, and then here's the front of it. So let me grab the small one. So if you want it, and I don't have a ribbon on this one yet, but if you wanted to make a family, you can get the small ones, and even the smaller one. You know, they've got regular size clothespins, but wouldn't this be cute on a mantle? They're also cute because they open. You can put a card or a photo or anything like that in them. Okay, let me sit him over there so I don't get stuff all over him. So we're going to go ahead and do black, and then we're going to paint the front part of it white. But I just get them all laid out, and I just go through and do all of one thing at once, all across the board. That's what we call batch painting. And you can get so many done that way. That's how I do my hats. I usually do hats 5 at a time. I was doing them like 10 at a time when I was trying to just hold them in my hand and paint them. And I thought, okay, this is for the birds. This is just not working. So I tried putting them on a salad bowl to see if I could tape them on there to hold them. And then finally I got smart and ordered some wig heads. And that's what I paint them on now. So I just pin them on wig heads. And they're so much easier. I get them tight with push pins, with the T-post pins, and just made all the difference in the world. Okay, now I don't want to lay that down like that right now because the other side is wet. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to open it so that I don't get any on this side. You can probably hear Mr. Pam out there mowing. It is cold. He's mowing in a coat. I'm in North Texas, and we've had a heavy frost the last 2 nights, but we've got so much going on that he was afraid he wouldn't get to mow the rest of the week, and he does not like his yard to get out of control. So he was getting it mow today. And the reason I cannot go live tomorrow, my dad, stepdad, is having a pacemaker put in the morning. We have to have him at the hospital at 6 a.m. and the hospital that they're doing it at is about 30 minutes away. So we're going to pick him up at 5 o'clock, which means I'm going to have to get up around 3:30 to get myself ready. So it's going to be a long day tomorrow. But keep him in your prayers. I'm hoping everything goes well. Okay, so we got the first one done. That's his hat. And we'll go to number 2. And I'll do 3 of them right now. And I won't put you through the boring part of all 6 of them. Just wanted to show you what you can do and what batch painting is. I had musical snowmen that I did one year, musical snowmen heads. They were about 12 inches, I guess, and the nose wound up and played frosty. I was doing 12 at a time with those, and they were very, very detailed. And it seems like it takes a lot more effort to do it that way, but it really doesn't. And then it's so gratifying when you finish the last step on the last one, and then you look on the table or whatever you're painting on, and they're all done. You've got that many done. So it's super gratifying. Thank you so much, Letitia. In Bedford too, yeah. I hear we're gonna get wet. I don't know if it means snow or rain this winter. Roxy, of each one, how many do you usually make? Okay, like these, I got extra of these because I did a paint party with them, an in-person paint party. So I bought I think I got a dozen of these, or maybe 24. They were 2 to a pack. But for the show to this that's coming up, I'm going to have one, let's see, 6, 7. I'll have 7 because I sold a couple and I gave one as a gift. But I like to do at least 3 of each thing, depending on what it is. If it's smalls, then I will do maybe a little more, maybe a dozen. Depends on what, like the hats, I'll probably, because I just do not have enough time to get more done, I will probably only have a dozen hats at the show, but that's the way I do it. I just kind of rock and roll with what I got. Some items, like if I were going to do the Santa coming down the chimney, I would only have one of those because I only did one. And it was at an event that I did, but I probably won't be selling that one. That one's probably going to go on my wall because it's a special memory of that event. Okay, so we've got the hat there. Put him out of the way. So if you're not talking and you're not on a live and you crank your music up, you can really get some of these knocked out. I mean, it would take me a full day, take a supper break, and then come back and finish them up. By the time you count sealing them and everything, it would take a full day, and then maybe a little to do this many. But then you've got so many done. And I'm being very careful to paint outwards where I don't want the paint to get inside. So I'm going away from it, that edge. And I have a separate cup of water for my black, because if I wash this brush out in the other paint that I'm going to be using, the paint water would be so dirty. Okay, and I'm keeping it open. I did find that it was much easier, or David found that it was much easier to put these back together after I had base coated them, before I get all the details on, because it was hard for him not to mess up where I had painted putting them back on. And they don't sit real, I mean, like the springs are so heavy or so tight that you might have to arrange them a little bit when you sit them on your shelf. Just kind of straighten them up a little bit. I just got black paint on my finger. But I just thought they were adorable. Now, I've done them as the snowman. I've also done them, I don't have any right now because I had already sold them all in a previous show last year. But I've done them as scarecrows, penguins, deer, reindeer. Trying to think, what else? I don't think I did a Santa, but you could definitely do Santa faces and have his beard coming down long. That would be cute also. All right, just gonna throw a second coat on those. While I've still got this black out, I am gonna go ahead and base coat all of these in the black, because I'm gonna try to get them finished today. May have to finish after church tonight. I can't stay up late since I've got to get up at 3:30. I won't be staying up late to paint, because I cannot be late tomorrow. Mr. Pam's going to go with me. It's supposed to be a fairly easy procedure now. They've come a long, long way with them. They used to keep you overnight. They don't even do that anymore. some of the wood came off that little spot there, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it black. I know I'm keeping these kind of far away from the camera, but I think you can still see what's going on. So when you go to a craft show, you're all makers, you know, you understand, but a lot of people will look at something like this, if it's marked $20, and they're going to go, ooh, $20 for a clothespin? I had someone say that to me at the paint party that we were doing. We didn't just do this. We had 2 other projects that we did as well, but they said, that amount of money for a clothespin? And I thought, you know, you obviously don't make things, and you don't realize how much things have gone up. And by the time there's no way you can completely charge, that I'm aware of, for your time that you put into it, but it's handmade, it's special. There's not going to be another one just like it. Maybe similar, but not completely just like it. Okay, I got a little bit of black inside there where I don't want it, so I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll put some of that blue back over it. And I will also, when I'm doing big batch painting like this, I'll usually sometimes move down to my dining room table because I have so much more space than I do here. Just depends on what I'm doing. All right, a little more black. And then we need to do, I'm going to go ahead, since we're using black, I'll go ahead and do the little hat brims. Measurement of the clothespin. They are 12 inches. So 1 foot. The small ones are 6 inches. But these are 12 inches. But they've even got them up to, I think, I got them on Amazon, and I think they had them even up to 2 feet or 3 feet. I don't remember. They were big. They had hooks on the bottom of them and towels hanging from them. So that tells you how big the bigger ones were. So that would be cute. But you could even do a spring scene on them. You could do flowers and bumblebees, and I mean, you could do just about anything. You could do one season on one side and something else on the other side. They're cute to hold photos, cards, notepads, recipes. If you painted them to match kitchen. Don't care much about what this looks like up here because it's going to have snow on it. So it's been a little crazy around here with all the medical stuff going on, and we've got a lot going on with our congregation right now. We're about to celebrate our 90th year that our congregation has been here. So we're having a huge event for that. Several speakers, anybody that went to church. So if you were ever a member at the Howe Church of Christ, we would love to have you. It is not this coming Sunday, but the next Sunday. It's the day after the craft show. So it'll be started the 12th through the 15th. And we'll have anybody and everybody that, no matter where they live, several people are flying in for it that were members here at one time. So we are super excited. So we're expecting a huge turnout for that. So all of the men and women of our congregation are working frantically to get everything ready. This coming Saturday. we host an annual Veterans Day breakfast for any veterans in our area. It's a free breakfast for any of our HAL veterans. And we have a little program that we do for them of appreciation, and then feed them breakfast. That is from, I don't remember the exact time, maybe 8 a.m. And it usually lasts a couple of hours once we get all the food ready. We cook the food. So we've got lots of bacon and eggs, and not sure what all we're doing this year, but that's going on. So and then this year we get all of that cleaned up after that ceremony and appreciation breakfast. And then we have a funeral service at our building at 2 o'clock. So we'll have to very quickly clean up after the Veterans Day appreciation breakfast and get everything ready for the memorial service for one of our precious dear sisters. And it's another thing, it's been a rough week. We lost one of our sweet, sweet sisters of our congregation. And so they're having the memorial service. And then our 90th year anniversary starts that following Sunday. So very active congregation. I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, so all the hat fronts are painted. Let's go ahead and do our little popsicle sticks. You're right, Roxy, they don't. So, Elaine, this is the 12-inch. The big one, and then here's the 6-inch. And then again, you could do just the regular clothespin size that you would hang your clothes up with, and do an even smaller size. And then there are even, I guess you would get, I didn't purchase these, but you could get them at Hobby Lobby, I guess. I'm not really sure. You could probably order them. These are 1.5 inch. These are tiny little, so that could be the baby or the dog of the family. You know, you could paint it. So that's how small. This is the 6-inch. So that's how small these are. So they come in all sizes. So you could just make really cute little families or flocks of something, or I don't know. There's just no end to what you could do with them. Okay, so we're going to glue these on here for the hat brims. And you think, you know, just need to do one side. Do both sides, because the tips of the back of them will show. So it really doesn't take that much longer just to go ahead and do both sides of them. That way, if anything's peeking out, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, and I'm going to lay that on. All right, ladies, what did I just do with the plate I had in my hand? I just had a plate in my hand, and I'm losing my mind. All right, I'll use this one. It might have flown behind me. I don't know. I'm just going to lay this here and I'm not going to put that on the black, but let that be drying, and then I'll do the other end. It must have flown off and gone under the table. And these do not take long to paint at all. So I just get as far up as I can without getting it all over my fingers. Make sure I've got a good thick coat on it. And then as soon as that dries, we'll do the other end. And then I just set those aside, and then you can put the details on them later. Because we want them really good and dry. Make sure you get the edges good. I think I missed this edge. So double check your edges before you glue it on. Make sure you get the end. I saw lots and lots of cute, cute Halloween costumes being posted. And then saw lots of gory ones too. We went and voted and then went and had supper. So we don't ever get anybody out here at our house. We're out in the country and we have a long, long driveway, a long, dark driveway. So we don't ever get anybody up here. These little sticks, again, I don't know if they came from Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I've had them so long. But they came $150 to a package. All right, one more. And then I'm going to hit them with the dryer a little bit and do the last edge. Saw some pretty creative costumes. Some people go all out, and I mean really put a lot of work into their costumes in their yards. Oh my goodness, some of the yards. Like I said on the last live, some of them this year looked like movie sets. 12, 15-foot tall skeletons. I don't know where they order that kind of stuff. Try the other side. And I saw a lot of pranks. A lot of pranks of people being scared unexpectedly. And it's hard not to laugh at some of them. I mean, some of them are just hilarious. I don't get into all the Halloween stuff. Like a lot of people do. I love all the cutesy stuff, and I love handing out candy. Sometimes we'll go to my son's house and we'll hand out candy there since we don't get any trick-or-treaters. Y'all, look at me. All right, did anybody tell me when I was asking what did I do with the plate? The plate's right in front of me. I'm losing it. Right in front of me the whole time. I can't believe nobody called me out on that. Y'all are so sweet. Or maybe you didn't see it either. Fess up. Admit it. Too many things in the brain right now. All right, Mr. Pam's getting much closer to the house. I can hear that lawnmower now. It looks so funny, him out there mowing with a coat on. He is incredibly hot-natured. So to see him with a coat on at all is different. But to see him out there mowing, and I can't believe we're still mowing in November. I can remember some years when we were mowing in December. I mean, literally mowing in the first week, second week of December. You just never know here in this part of the country what you're going to get. Like at the crafts show, it's always the second Saturday in November. We've had some years where it was literally 90 degrees. Some years it was pouring down rain. One year it was sleeting like crazy and so cold. And another year it was snowing all day. So you just never know what you're going to get around here. Okay, so I think those are covered enough. Let me look at the tips of them just to make sure. Yep, I think we're good on that. Okay, so I've got a separate cup of water here for that black. Look how quick. That was clean water. Not anymore. So I always have a separate cup for my black. rinse it out really good, wipe it down, and then I rinse it in the clear water again because I've got almost all of it out, but I want to make sure that I got all of it out because I'm going to use it again to put our white on. Now on the little hat brim, we'll have some snow, but then there's also, if you can see, little holly leaves and holly berries. So I don't know if we'll get to all of that. I just mainly wanted to show you how I do batch painting when I'm doing it. So I'm going to set these aside. Don't let me forget, ladies, these are on a plate. I'm setting them on top of my trash can down here. So when I say, what did I do with those hat brims? Y'all can say, don't forget, Pam, you put them on the trash can. Okay, so now we're going to do the front part of the belly, and we can do the, let's go ahead and do the snowflakes on some of them while we do the bellies on the other, and they'll be drying. And or if we, let's see, we can do the bellies on all of them, then turn them over and do the snowflakes, and they'll be dry that way. So it really doesn't matter one way or the other, but from here down, from under the hat down is white. So let's get our white. I've got two different kinds of white. I usually spatter them with a toothbrush last. Okay, so the same brush that we used on the hat. In shorts when you were, I know. Maybe I meant the other plate. Maybe I did. Okay, well, I don't feel bad. I wasn't the only one. All right, I'm going to scoot these kind of out of the way because I don't want to flick any paint on them. But we're just going to put a coat. Now, I don't want it on the edges, so I'm going to feather out away from the edge. And then just smooth it out. And if you get some on the edge, it's okay. We're going to splatter it, and we've got plenty of that blue if we need to clean up a little bit, and I always do. Especially when I get to going fast and I'm doing so many of these, I'll have some spots that I need to go back and clean up a little bit. So rather than dry each one individually when I'm doing this, I'll set this one aside and go to the next one. And by the time I get to the last one, the first coat on the first one is dry and ready to put a second coat on if it needs it. So you just kind of get in a groove. And again, notice how I'm feathering out away from the edges. That's how I keep paint from getting on the back of my door hangers and things that I'm painting. I used to do it up and down or like this, and I would have a blob of paint on the edge if I'm coming in towards the edge, and I would always have so much cleanup to try to do on the back of them. Well, since I started doing it this way, just feathering out away from them, rarely do I have that problem anymore. Now, I'm not trying to get a full coverage on this first coat. I just want a light coat so that it gives enough for the second coat to stick to. I love, love, love repetition. This would drive some people crazy. They do not like doing this. It's very boring to them, but to me, it's just the opposite. It just relaxes me. I love doing repetition, and especially, again, when you do several like this and you get finished with the very last stroke on the last one, and you look back and you've got all of them done. You've got a bunch done, and you just feel so accomplished. Whoops, I just got it on the black there. Let's see if I can get it with a baby wipe. If not, you know what? It doesn't even matter. I got a little bit of white on the very bottom of that black, but our little popsicle stick is going to cover that. So I'm not even going to worry about it. All right, getting on a roll here. But I don't want to get too, I don't know what the word is, too cocky about it, because I don't want to just start slapping it on there and splattering it where it doesn't go. So I still need to pay attention to what I'm doing. So I'm hoping we have a really warm day after the craft show. Not this weekend, but next weekend. A really, really warm day after we're all done so that we can get our outdoor Christmas lights up. Won't turn them on yet, but I usually turn them on Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving evening. It is so hard to put them out when it's cold. And I put them all over the front, all over the back, and all over the one side of our house. So a lot of lights. I had a lady one year call me. I just finished them, got them all turned on, and sometime that week she called and she said, could you tell us who did your lights? Do you have the number of the company that did your lights? They just look so good. And it just was such a great compliment. I mean, just made me feel so good, because I didn't think there were some things I thought, oh, I should have done it this way, I should have done it that way. And for her to call and say, could you tell me what company did your lights? I just love them. And I said, well, it's Mr. and Mrs. Pam. We did them ourselves. And no, I love you, but we can't come do yours. It is quite a job. A lot of the firemen will install them. I don't know about the firemen, but I know several places, if they do install them, they won't use your lights for safety purposes. They have to use their lights that have been tested. And I know down in the Dallas area, I watched a program on them, and they charged, like, just for the windows, it was like $200 a window. And that was not even the most expensive, to put them around the windows. No, I could buy a lot of Christmas presents for that. All right, let me dry that one right quick. I told you colonial blue on these, I think, which will work just fine, but I'm pretty sure now that I put that little dot on there, I think I used Williamsburg blue. I know I did, Williamsburg blue on these bases. So Williamsburg blue. But colonial blue will work too. Or even a winter blue, just whatever you got. Sorry, I don't think I was even in camera. All right, what are you saying? Dixie, what are you saying dang about? I am so determined, once I get the Christmas lights started, to get them finished in one day. I have even been known to stay out till I get them finished and put them up with a flashlight until I could get them all done. Okay, last one there. Now this one's dry. dry enough to go ahead and put a second coat on. Slow down a little bit. Add just a tad bit of water to my brush. Getting a little dry. Just smooth it out. And honestly, on this one, it's okay if a little bit of that blue shows through, because it just looks wintry. And I'm not flicking it out. I'm just going across. If you flick it, it's going to go everywhere. And just lightly run it in the right direction. Okay, I'm going to rinse it just a little bit because I noticed a tiny bit of black coming out of there. And this is just one of those cheapy brushes from Dollar General, I believe. But it makes a good base coat brush. Not sure how I'm going to display these yet. I thought it would be cute putting them. I've got a metal bucket. I've also got a blue basket that I could set one up beside it, displaying what it, showing an example of what it can be used for, and then putting all the others in the basket. So that's probably what I'll do, because I'm going to have them marked individually, priced individually. Any of you have craft shows this weekend or next weekend or coming up? I know Peggy Wilson has several. One for, I think, this weekend, next weekend, and the weekend after. She said she had like 3 in a row. I only do one craft show a year, and that's the one that's just 5 minutes from my house. I don't know how you guys that do multiple craft shows, I just don't know how you do it. I can't seem to get that much product made up. The booth I have is 19 by 20 feet, and I usually have it pretty full. So I guess I could do one right after that, whatever didn't sell at that one. Do one with maybe the next show, do only like a 10 by 10 booth. But this year, I think what I'm going to do, because so many of you have asked me for things, and you know, I've got to put it in the craft show. I can't sell right now, so I think what I'm going to do is anything I have left, or a lot of things that I have left from the craft show, I'm going to put on my website the week after the craft show, probably the following weekend, because we've got so much going on with our church event. And just put them out there, hats and all, and say, first come, first serve. And you can purchase them in my store. That's the only fair way I know to do it, because I know I won't be able to get a ton of things painted up between now and the end of the year, because I also have to get my holiday decorating and shopping finished in time with my family. Our daughter's going to get to come in from California. I'm so excited. She can't come in Thanksgiving. She's never missed a Thanksgiving. And it's just killing her that she's going to not be here for Thanksgiving. It'll be her first one to ever miss, but she couldn't get off for both holidays, so she's going to come. We always do our Christmas the weekend prior to the Christmas weekend. That way, all of my married kiddos can go to their spouse's family on Christmas, because they usually have it on Christmas Day. So that way we get the best of, they get the best of both worlds. You know, they don't have to just get up super early and be at 2 or 3 different houses, and their kids can enjoy their Christmas, see what Santa Claus brought them, and then we're free to go roam around and see some of them at their individual homes that evening, see what all they got. So it just works out best for our family. Whew, after this Christmas, we're going to be packing things up. I won't be putting all my photos back out, all my family photos. Yes, $200 a window, and that was the cheaper side. Since we're going to be putting the house on the market, they tell you not to leave any family photos, any personal photos out. So I'm going to box them up for Christmas to put all my Christmas decorations up, and then I'm not going to put them back out. So they'll already be packed away. So we'll be a little bit ahead of the game on that. We have sure seen some pretty houses that we would love to purchase, but we're just not ready yet. We've got some things we've got to do here before we put it on the market. We could put it on the market right now. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm very particular, and if I were purchasing the house, like the front porch could use a new coat of paint. We just had it painted about 5 years ago maybe, but it just needs to be freshened up. So just some little things like that we want to have nice and fresh for whoever ends up being here. We had the house built, so it's only have one owner, 2 owners, Mr. and Mrs. Pam, but okay, so good enough on that. Okay, I'm going to leave that in there for a second. Let me see if I can, I've got some Williamsburg. I don't think I have any of the Williamsburg over here. I don't know what I did with it. I think we can get away with the colonial blue. Here we go. Okay, Williamsburg blue. That's the one that I used. Williamsburg blue deco art. So we're going to do some shading with that around the body. Okay, it's looking to see how long we've been on here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get it dry, and then I'll put a little bit of moisture on it. We need to do some snow. I'm going to switch to an angle brush. This one is a 3/8 angle. And you can use a spritzer bottle, or I just take a brush and just wipe it on wherever I'm going to be shading. Okay, and I'm going to get some of that Williamsburg blue just on the tip of my brush and go right down the side. Just to give it that little bit of cold feeling, icy feeling. Okay, there's with, and then this side over here is without. And we're going to do the same thing on the next side. Let's get it a little wet. Now I'm not putting a ton of water on there. It doesn't matter up above on the top here, because that will have the hat brim over it. Okay, so both sides there. And then I'm going to put some snow down at the bottom, just some little snow drifts. And it's just, I guess you would say a C. We're just going to make a little hump. And I added just a tad bit of water to my brush. And we'll start just down at the bottom. Needed a little more water. I'm doing it sideways here. Okay, so that's what I'm working on. Okay, and then I'm just on this one. I just kind of went over it like that. And you've just got your snow drifts. Okay, so we'll do that on each one. And then we'll start putting the face on. Seeing if that one was dry. I think it's dry. So I will say before you glue this on, make sure that you go ahead and paint your little leaves, holly leaves, and the little berries and your snow on it. It's so much easier to paint it before you put it on there. So that's a little trick I learned the hard way. Okay, I'm going to put a little more white out, and we'll just do two things at once on these. I'm going to make some snowflakes on the back. So I'm using my long liner brush. It's a 10-0, 10-aught, or 30-aught, I'm sorry. Going to dip it in that white, and we're going to make some TX snowflakes. You could stencil snowflakes on here. You could just splatter it and be done with it. But I like to paint some snowflakes on. So we're going to make a T. And then we're going to, I'm dipping back in the paint. We're going to make a small X in the center. T. Now, obviously, if you were going to paint something like a scarecrow or something on the back, you would not be doing this. Add a little more water to my brush. Okay. Now, I will dot these at the very end. I will put dots on them, but the dots take forever to dry. So I'll do those in this splattering last, but that's how I dot them. Now this one I did a little different. I did here, I kind of zigzagged them. This one I went straight down. So if you just get bored doing it one way, switch it up a little bit. Here's the finished one again. Okay, so I'm going to set that one aside. Yeah, let's go ahead and get our blue shading on the sides. And notice this is kind of rustic, so I'm not even taking a ton of effort in this shading. It's not this gorgeous, a lot of time taking shading them. I'm just getting some faded out blue on there. Just enough for it to show. And by getting just a little bit of moisture on it, it flows nicely for you. And we can go ahead and do some down here at the bottom. I don't know that I did it on the other one. Okay, then we'll make our snowmans. Dipped back in the water, back in the paint. Now you could stop with just 3 there. I'm going to go ahead and do another row. Okay, and you just keep going, keep going. So who else on here likes to batch paint? Do you? Have you ever, anyone on here never batch painted and this, like, oh, this is a game changer? Of course, I would be doing it much faster if I weren't live. I would just have my Christmas music going, and I will here in just a little bit. And getting them knocked out. Hi, Jackie. Oh, a new greenhouse. That sounds like fun. Okay, Jackie, if you just hopped on, this is kind of what we're working on. This is the large 12-foot one, not 12 foot, 12 inches, 1 foot Snowman clothespin. Opens up and can hold a card or photos or just be pretty on a mantle. The smaller ones would be pretty as a tier tray item. So I'm just showing how I batch paint. And you also have to be careful with yourself because once you start doing a lot of them, you get braver or a little more liberal with what you're doing, and you'll start out with just a tiny little section here on the first one because you're being a little more careful, a little more reserved. But boy, by the time you get to that 10th or 12th one, you're just slapping it on because you've just been doing so many of them and you just get with it. So you do have to kind of watch yourself, make sure you're not overdoing. Okay, and let's put our snow on that one. And I'm just twisting it in my hand. First row, I didn't even reload. A little bit too much water in that one. You could even put glitter on the bottom to make it look sparkly snow. Okay, so we've got 3 with snow on them now. Snowflakes are pretty much dry on that one. Yay, Jackie. Oh, I know. We've been helping our kiddos, about to help some of our kiddos move. Yay, Dixie, I'm glad it's helping. And again, you can do them as, they make really cute, like soldiers. There's just no end to what you can paint on the fronts of them. Lots of different things. Okay, y'all, I'm going to turn my fan on. It's getting a little warmer now. I didn't realize I didn't have it on. Sorry, I keep holding this close to me and you're not able to see it. So if you were doing this, if you're a seller, if you sell your items and you paid right at $8 for each one of these 12-inch ones, then you've got the cost of the little popsicle sticks. And you're doing them at a craft show, not shipping and handling, but you got to do tax and everything. But So the just the cost of the piece itself, around $8. Then the popsicle stick, and then your time, your paint. What would you list them for if you were selling them in your store or at a craft show? Just your base price, not counting shipping and handling. What price would you put on them? That's my hardest thing, because I tend to want to give my things away. I want everybody to get a good deal, but you know, if it's your living and your income, you can't give everything away, or you don't have a business. It's a hobby, and it ends up you end up paying money and not making anything. Or maybe I should ask it this way. If you were at a craft show, and of course you're a crafter, you're a maker, so you look at it a little differently. You know the effort that goes into them. But what would you pay for one? Right now, I'm thinking, hi Peggy. You need me to paint a nutcracker? I've never painted a nutcracker. That would be a good challenge for me. I don't have time this year, but I could definitely look up some patterns and work on that for next year, Roxy. Okay, so I'm just floating the snow here. Now I've got my row of 3. Now I'm going to start in the middle of this bottom one. And none of them are exactly the same. Like this one, I'm going to put a few extra ones on. It looks like a pile of snow. And it will really look cute when we start putting our little hats and things on. Excuse me. I have not been in Hobby Lobby in almost 2 months. So I have got to get in there and see what all they've got. I'm trying really, really hard because we're almost at the end of the year and I want to be profitable. So I'm trying really hard not to spend any more for this year. And another thing, when you're going to craft shows, cost for the vendors, you know, their booth fee. They're also out that cost. So that's why we do have to put a little bit on the price tags. I wonder how it's going to be. Peggy, you've been to several craft shows. With the economy the way it is right now, does that seem to be affecting sales? I live in a, I'm not going to say low income, I guess moderate income area, community. I don't actually live in the community where we're having the craft show, but the craft show, you know, it's not people that have just money they can just throw around. economy definitely affects them. Okay, one more of that. Oops, I forgot the snow. Good. Oh, good. Proud of me for restraining myself. $19.99 is what I think I'm going to put on them. $19.99. Typically what I do is I triple whatever all of my cost and time. I triple the amount that I pay for it, and that usually pays for all of my materials, my labor and everything. And then I have to sometimes tweak it. Sometimes that's a little bit too much, and sometimes that's not quite enough. So that's my basis. I usually triple what it cost me. Like if it cost me $2, I'll say, okay, $6, but then I may have to add a little bit more if I had some something extra on it. Like if I add diamond dust, you know that diamond dust is not cheap. So I will have to add a little bit. Okay, that one I went a little bit smaller, lower on these. So I'll go up a little higher with it. So like these were $8. So times 3, that's $24 just for the cost of these, not counting everything else I've got into them. So but I did not think anybody would pay $24 for them. So I'm tweaking it a little and coming down off of that. To kind of bring that price down a little bit. Now, if I were to go to the Dallas area, I could easily put 3 times the amount on them, but in the Dallas area, you're going to pay for a 10 by 10 booth. In most places, for a decent show, you're going to pay $300 to $500 just for your booth. And I just cannot bring myself. Now, if I had $4,000 worth of inventory that I could take, then yes, you know, I could do that, but I don't. So I can't do that. I would love, love, love. I don't know, those of you that are local, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say Canton, Texas. And even if you're from another state, because people come up from all over the United States for Canton Trades Day. I would love to do a booth there. I have a friend that does one there, but they require you have to be present in your booth on Sundays. Well, I'm not going to miss church for it. So if they would let me show up a little bit later on Sunday to my booth, we might could do it, work it out, and go to church somewhere there. I love going to Canton. They say on a good weekend, now I don't know since COVID, you know, it's a different world since COVID, but on a good weekend at Canton, there's around 300,000 people in one weekend. 300,000 people. And you cannot see it all in one day. There's just no way. So we like to rent an Airbnb. We used to have a timeshare, but we don't have that anymore. We sold that. And we'll go on Friday and Saturday, and then come home Saturday evening. I love going and shopping there. They've got everything. I mean, from crafts to animals to tools, furniture. They've got several blocks in one area that's nothing but animals for sale. chickens, ostrich. I mean, you just see everything. But then they've got this little shop, and it's nothing but puppies. And they make sure that none of them are puppy meals. But they have playpen after playpen of every kind of breed of little puppy you can think of. Adorable. I usually have to make myself stay away from there, because I do not need a puppy dog. But I'm afraid I would probably walk away with one. I've got enough grand dogs to keep me. Loving puppies. But oh my goodness, they have some cute ones. Okay, so we've got all of our snow. So now I've got 6 of them with snow on them. And it just goes on and on and on that way. Now to do the little, and again, if you weren't on here the other day, I don't have the other one. But little tongue depressors, popsicle sticks, whatever you want to call them. Here's the larger ones cut in half, and they've made pins to go on your shirt or something. Here's a snowman. I had a Santa Claus. Oh, I had a ghost for the other one, and there was a witch. But little Rudolph. This is just a tongue depressor cut in 2 and painted like that. For the nose, it's just a blob of hot glue. And then she just used some little wire and curled it and put some little felt ears on there. Of course, you could make it, this one's got a little tiny red nose. It's kind of rubbed off. I've had this for 30-something years. So anyway, but aren't they cute? Cute little teacher gifts. To put a little pin on the back to put it on your shirt or on a gift. You can cut out your own craft sometimes. I just look for ideas. My sister bought a wooden Christmas tree for $45. And I traced the pattern for me one. Yep. Generic patterns, you can do that. You've seen some door hangers that you would never pay $45 to $65 for. Yeah, mine are usually 30 to 35 is what mine usually are. Okay, so for the little eyes, these are small eyes. It's a small piece. So I would use a small round. I have my small little detail brush that I use that I love, love, love. It's a 10-0 on there. I got it at Hobby Lobby. I don't know if they still sell them anymore. It's a Princeton Velvet Touch, but I love that for small little details. Great for details. Okay, so we already got the snowflake on the back of that one. Let's put a snowflake on the front of it. I think what I'll do though, let me grab something real quick and see what y'all think. Okay, on the front of it only, not on the back, because that would get too costly. But on this one, I just painted the snowflake on the front like I did the back. Or, I've got all these little snowflakes. Could paint it white and put a wooden one on there. I think that's what I'll do. Don't you think? It'll add a little more detail, a little more dimension to it. And again, when you get these, after you paint them and put them back together, they don't go back together exactly perfect, but they're still adorable. So I think that's what I will do with that one, is put the little wooden snowflakes on there. And I've got different shapes. Just adds a little more dimension, another layer to them. Really, less than 45? I don't think I could get that here in this area. Now, there's some of them that, if I've got a lot of detail on it, I would. Yeah, I think I like the snowflakes too. The back, I'll just do the regular, I mean, just the painted on. But these, I think the front will go ahead and do the top of it. Now, if you do your this could be Christmas, or it's kind of Christmassy because we put the holly on the little brim, you know, when we do, but it's not that Christmassy. You could leave this out all winter. I mean, you could do it all winter long. Okay, so we will put those aside, and I will just use a little dauber, sponge dauber, and paint those, and we'll put those on. Okay, so let's see, what do I want to do next? Let's go ahead and do, since I've got some white that's drying here, and let's get, let's do one. And I'm just going to put some snow on the top of the hat and the brims. Okay, so look and see if you've got a bad side to your little sticks, your little popsicle stick. This one's got a little bit of a rough edge to it. Doesn't look bad, but I want to use the smooth side. So I want to make sure that you choose the best side that's going to be facing out. So let's go ahead and put on. Now I want to be sure and just get the top, very top of this, because I'm going to be painting those leaves on it. I don't want to get it down too far with paint, or I won't have room for my leaves and my berry. So we're just going to get it just at the top. Just enough where it looks like some snow. And we'll get it on the edge too. And again, if you're not doing a live and you're not demonstrating, you can whip these out in no time. Batch painting is very good when you're doing craft shows and things of that nature. So just at the very tip top to leave us room for those leaves, holly leaves and berries. So let's get each one of those done. Look at my sides. And also, if it's got a bow in it, you want to put the part bowing in that's going to stick best to your, you know, that's going to stick best to the wood. So be sure and kind of watch that as well. So let's go ahead and do the tip, the top. And I'm just, this is a filbert brush. It's actually a very worn out one. We went out to eat last night after we voted, and I ordered meatloaf. And we've been to this restaurant several times. We really love it. I'm not going to name it, but in our area, and we've really liked their food. Have enjoyed it so much every time we go. Well, I ordered meatloaf last night, and what they brought me, I mean, it was good. It had good flavor to it, but it was not meatloaf. I think it was Salisbury steak. And they just poured some stewed tomatoes over it. So it was good, but next time I go, if I order meatloaf, I'm going to tell them, hey, because I've gotten their meatloaf there before, and it was very good. This was not meatloaf. So I'm thinking they were either out of something and they just didn't tell us. I'm not sure. But it wasn't what I ordered. But I ate it anyway. It never fails when we go out to eat. More times than not, Mr. Pam will order. His is really good. steak will be tender, whatever we're getting. Something will be wrong with mine. Like last night, I ordered meatloaf. It was not meatloaf. And so he thought I was just being me. And I had him try it. In fact, I saved half of it. And that's what he had for lunch today. And he was eating it. And he said, "This is not meatloaf." I said, "Told you. Told you it wasn't meatloaf." Again, it was good, but it just was not at all meatloaf. Okay, so all those little doodads, I've got all those done. So I'm going to set them aside. And while we are working on the snow part on the top of the head, and I'll go through and do the snowflakes as well. But this paint's kind of drying out, so I wanted to go ahead and use it while we've got it. So we're going to do the top of the black part. I'm just going to pounce it on. Don't have to cover it all up. And then we're going to come down just on the edges. I'm going to turn it up and down sideways. So it looks like I've got some drips here. I'm going to do it on the edge. I'm going to come down just a little bit further. And I just want to get it even on the sides too. However far I come down in the front is how far I want to come down on the side. Okay, so there's our snow. It actually looks better if you let a little bit of the black show through. It looks more like little snow drifts. You don't want a straight line across. You want it uneven. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. Okay, and then you just keep going. Got your momentum going here. Okay, and then again, all this is going to be splattered with white paint too, so the blue is going to look like it's got some snow on it too. Just not as heavy as the hat. And after it dries, you might want to look at it if you think it needs another coat on it. And you can certainly do that. last one. Look how fast that was, getting all that snow on there. Then you want to be sure and go back and make sure that you didn't miss one of the edges or the top. I have gotten completely finished with one and realized, oh man, I didn't do the top of it. Okay, so snow is done on those. So in 5 minutes, we got all the snow on the little sticks, on the hat brims, and all the snow on there. So when you get that to going, you can get several of anything like that done. Okay, I'm going to bring you up. That's drying. I'm going to crank up my music and get going. I know we didn't finish them, but I'm doing so many of them, I knew I wouldn't get finished, but you can see the end product. And you can go back and watch the video, the tutorial where I did just one and show you from start to finish how I did it. And actually, I think I've got the one. Let me grab it. Now this might be the one I did. I don't remember. On this one, the difference in this one, I have little pine sprigs coming out from under the hat on this one, and I don't on this one. And I've got a long hat brim on this one and the shorter one on this one. So tell me right quick, which one do you like? Which one do you prefer if you were purchasing one? The longer stick, the longer hat brim, or the shorter hat brim, the more narrow? Which do you like? These are both the 12 foot, and they're both painted the same and all speckled on the top and the back and the sides. So which do you prefer? Longer hat brim or the shorter hat brim? You see, it could be mom and dad. You could even do different color snowmen or whatever. Santas. You could do Santa and some snowmen together. But doesn't it look like a family? How cute. This one looks like kind of like a mom with the sprig out from under her hat. And I don't have ribbons around these yet, but shorter. You said you found those big pins on Amazon. Yes, Amazon. I don't have an affiliate link for them. I don't, but if you will just search large clothespin or 12-inch clothespin, they should come up. They come 2 to a package, and they're either $12.99 or $13.99. I think they were $12.99, and then by the time you do tax and everything on them, they were right at $8 a piece. Okay, ladies, I'm going to let you go. I've got to get busy and finish these and get them cranked out before I do supper. Thank you so much for hopping on with me. Again, if you're new, welcome. We're so glad to have you. And don't forget to hit that follow button. And if you liked what you saw today, please sprinkle out the video and help me get to 2,000. We're getting so close. So close. But have a wonderful weekend. I don't know if I'll be on here again with my stepdad having his pacemaker put in tomorrow. I'm not sure what the weekend holds, but anyway, so I wanted to get on here definitely and paint with you a little bit before everything just got crazy, but I'm going to get busy. I'm going to turn on my Christmas music and paint away. Y'all have a wonderful time. Go create something. Thank you. Bye-bye.